So,
Yeah.
Miami won game 1 against Boston, just like you said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not abandoning shit, but it's, obviously there were key players missing. You did say that the Heat would win because, Celtics were gassed or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were missing.
You're missing Marcus Smart and Al Horford.
I feel like if that's not the narrative, they definitely win the game.
Okay.
But, So are we all just sleeping on Jimmy Butler and the Heat, or what's going on here? I'm not sleeping on Jimmy Butler and the Heat.
All right, so a lot of things to discuss here. First of all, I will give you credit. You have been the biggest Robert Williams Time Lord fan there is, and he played yesterday and played well.
Played very well.
And it was looking great for the Celtics.
Yep.
If the Celtics are up 10 at halftime, and if they win that game in Miami, no Marcus Smart, no Al Horford, it's very hard to figure out how the Heat are going to be able to win 4 of the next 6 as the Celtics get healthier. But then the Celtics, and notably your guy Tatum, had the worst quarter they've had all postseason.
Yeah.
And that was inflicted upon them by the Miami Heat defense and Jimmy Butler. But Tatum tied the modern playoff record for most turnovers in a quarter in any playoff game. He had 6 turnovers in the third quarter, and it went from a 10-point Celtics lead to a 10-point Celtics deficit in the span of 6 game minutes. First 6 minutes of the third quarter was a 22-2 Miami run. Now, that was done some by Jimmy, but a lot by the Miami defense as a whole. But to answer the question about are we sleeping on the Heat? I mean, they're the 1 seed. They made the finals 2 years ago. Everyone discounts that finals appearance because what they're really trying to do, because so much of, not just from me, but from so much NBA commentary revolves around the son that is LeBron James. And so people discount what the Heat did in the bubble as a way to discount what LeBron won in the bubble. If you acknowledge the Heat were an awesome team, it gives more validity to LeBron's championship instead of me calling it a bubble title or a Mickey Mouse title. But if you look at it, okay, so the Heat went to the finals in 2020. Last year, they ran into peak of his powers Giannis, and they played poorly, and guys were banged up, and they got swept in round 1. This year, they're the 1 seed. They have been able to deal with injuries throughout the year, still be the 1 seed. And now we get to Jimmy Butler, which this is something we acknowledge happens all the time or with some regularity in the negative direction. But people need to open up their eyes that this can happen in the positive direction. Here's what we know happens in the negative direction. An all-time great regular season player gets to the postseason and gets worse every year. James Harden's an example. James Harden is regular season-wise, statistically one of the greatest players ever, and in the postseason is 25 to 30% worse. Before your era, Karl Malone was like this. Karl Malone, second leading all-time scorer. Well, did LeBron pass him yet? I'm not certain. But regardless, he was the second leading all-time scorer. Won 2 MVPs, finished second at other times. And Karl Malone come the postseason would be just a little bit worse. We would say, okay, you're great in the regular season and you're just good in the postseason. Jimmy Butler's the inverse of that. He's good in the regular season, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And come the playoffs, he's a different level guy. He ups his game by 25 to 30%. Jimmy Butler, the year they went to the finals, had 0 40-point games in the regular season. In the playoffs, he had 2. Jimmy Butler this year had 0 40-point games in the regular season. In the playoffs, he already has 3. So is Jimmy Butler a superstar? In the regular season, no. In the playoffs, are there 10 guys you'd rather have? Sure doesn't seem like it. So in the playoffs, he's a superstar. In the playoffs, it matters the most. We saw this a bit with your guy Rondo near the end of his career. But that wasn't to the same. What was happening with Rondo was bad in the regular season and then would be above average to good in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Butler being good in the regular season and then great in the playoffs is a unique thing. But yeah, I mean, some people are sleeping on the Heat. Some people picked the Heat to win the series. Heat in 7 was the pick. Feel pretty good about it. But you guys will get Smart back. You'll get Horford back. Your guy Tatum needs to play better. It all is not lost. There's going to be a tight nip and tuck series. However, some people are sleeping on the Heat. Not me, because I've gotten basically everything about these NBA playoffs right, except for the Bucks-Celtics series. And Chris Middleton was out, so it doesn't even really count.
And you're sticking with Heat in 7.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to abandon it after they win game 1.
Yeah.
Of course not. All right, Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.